G'day guys, how's it going? All right, so I have shut the roller door. It is locked. I've got all these motorbikes in here and they're not going to be moving for a while. Now that could be because it's winter, not so much here in Australia. It might be that I'm going on a holiday, or it could be that I've got to move away for work and then I'll be coming back. So the bikes are being stored here. They're not going to be ridden. They're not going to be started. What do we need to do to make sure these bikes are in good health while they're sitting here doing nothing? That's what this video is all about. Okay, so now we're talking about, I don't know, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, or an unlimited amount of time that these bikes are going to be sitting here. Now we've got to remember that we live in a globe, different weather conditions, environments, something that the guys in the UK would consider it to be more beneficial or not as important or more important as opposed to America or us here in Australia, India, whatever, you know what I'm talking about. I'm just going to be running through the major things that I think, and I'm no expert as you guys know, but I have chatted with my old man. He's 75, he's been a fully qualified mechanic his whole life. He's ran his own bloody businesses. He's pretty knowledgeable. I've also done research with YouTube, just checking out what the other guys are doing, the old, winterizing your motorbike. And this is what I've bloody come up with. Let's have a look. Rightio, so here we go. So we've got fuel, battery, tires, engine, and general overall protection. Rightio guys, so for yous that are out there going, Mark, I don't want to hear all the bullshit, just tell me what they are. I don't need to know why. Just hit me with it. Let's do it. Right, starting at the top, for me the top is the fuel. Fuel goes bad, we know that, you can't deny that. Fuel goes bad. Right, so two things that you can do. Drain all the fuel out of the system. Now remember, I'm going to go into more detail after I run through this, because there are different things like fuel injected bikes, carburetor bikes. But drain all the fuel out of the system, not just the tank, and you're all sweet. Or fill the tank up right to the brim, add some fuel stabilizer in it, and you're all good to go. Brilliant. Battery. Batteries lose charge over time. Again, different batteries, lithium as opposed to lead acid, there's differences. But batteries do lose their charge. What can you do? Get a new tender or a float bloody thing. It's got to be one of the new ones where it doesn't just continue like the old trickle chargers where it just keeps pumping bloody charge into your battery. You don't want that. You want one that will monitor the level and run through cycles, blah, blah, blah. All good, done. Second thing with that is if you don't do that or you don't want to have that, just simply remove the earth strap off the battery, parasitic charges and all that kind of stuff. And of course my phone is ringing. We'll come back for the third one. Sorry guys. Tyres. Tyres is the third one. Very important because it's what is between you and the road. Basically take the weight off those tyres. You don't want the weight of the bike sitting on those tyres. Remember, we're not moving these things, so it's the pressure is going on that tyre. You'll end up with flat spots. If you get the cracking and all that kind of stuff is going to be in that one spot, can cause you big problems down when you bloody come back to ride your bike. So if you've got a center stand on your motorbike, chuck it on that, you're all good. If you've got a jack stand, sit it on the jack stand, lift it up so it's just, you don't have to have it, it can be touching the floor, but it's the weight because it's sitting in that one spot. Another thing people talk about is if you've got concrete floors, put some cardboard down. That seems to help or do some trip. It's something about the moisture coming up. I'm not too sure about that. I would just say get the pressure off the tyres however you can. Worst case scenario, just make sure you've got plenty of pressure in those tyres. Don't leave them half bloody, pressurised, blah, blah, blah. Remember, after this, I'll go into all the bullshit. Righto, fourth thing is the engine. Change the oil. Even if you're halfway through to your next service, get rid of that oil. It's got contaminants in it. It's holding moisture and all that kind of stuff. Get it all out, put some fresh stuff in it. Then seal your exhaust pipe, seal your intake, the air intake, air filter bloody spot. Put plastic bags over it. That basically seals your whole engine. No rodents or moisture or whatever the hell can get into those areas and into your engine. Just fixes that all up. Righto, last but not least is the general protection, and that is basically wash the bike, put a hand wax or some type of polish bloody thing all over your bits and pieces. That'll just keep it nice, the paint jobs or whatever bike you've got protected. All your metal bits and pieces, get some WD-40 and just spray that liberally all over it. It'll keep that protected. Doesn't matter if it's steel, aluminium, whatever, chrome, the whole kit and caboodle. The last thing, if you've got a chain, I don't normally run oil on my chain. I'll run it dry with the exception of when I wash it. I'll get WD-40, spray that on, wipe it off, and that's how I run. But in this case, what I would do is grab, now I've got Maxima chain wax. I would put a chain wax on that because I know if I just leave that WD-40 over time, that will dissipate and disappear out and you won't have the protection. Put a chain wax on there, goes on, hardens up, and it will stay there for however bloody long you want. Right, I think we've gotten through all of it. Let's now dive into a bit more elaboration on why we're doing it. Rightio, so we're talking about fuel. This bike here, CB250, is a carburetor, DR650 carburetor, Boulevard C50, fuel injected. Right, so if I want to drain the tanks and the system on the carburetors, it has a petcock. You can drain all the fuel out of the tank. Carby, bloody bowl, undo it, boom, all the fuel comes out of the carby. That is done. Now, with the fuel injected bike, the only way that you can get all the fuel out of this is with a siphon. Chuck a siphon in there and do however the siphon, if you've got a jiggle one or a pump one or whatever. I don't think you're going to get every skerrick of that fuel out of that tank that way. You would have to take the tank off, take that bloody stupid connection, which is a real pain in the ass, and all your little bloody wires. It's a real bugger, and then you'd have to tip the tap, turn the tank upside down to drain it all out. So my preference would be drain the carburetors, and that's how I'd run with those. With the fuel injected bike, I would fill it up to the brim, put that fuel additive, the stabilizer in there, and that'd be good to go. Now, with that said, make sure you put the fuel stabilizer in there. Take it for a quick run around the block. That'll get that fuel stabilized, or the stabilized fuel all through the system. Bring it back, top it up if you have to, and you're not going to use much, and then that is done. That's it. So when you come back, you can just jump on that bike and ride away. These ones, you're just going to get some fresh fuel, chuck it in, and you're sweet to go. Right, now you might be saying, Mark, why do I have to fill my tank up and put that fuel additive in there? Can't I just put the fuel additive with half a tank? That way that when I come back, I can put some fresh stuff in there. The reason for that is water, condensation, rusting on the inside of the tank. That is why you want to fill it up. So if you've got half a tank, there's going to be all this air in the top, and then you can get the condensation, and it can rust. So by filling it all the way to the top, between the fuel and the vapor, there's very little air in there that's going to cause you any problems with the rusting and all that kind of stuff. So that's the whole idea of filling it right to the top. Brilliant. Rightio, so battery. Let's bloody sort out the old battery. We know we've got two ways of doing it. Find out wherever your battery is. Grab a battery tender, whatever brand it is, as long as it's one of those ones that will not just continually trickle charge. You want a battery monitoring system. Plug this into the wall. Get your two alligator clips. Whack them on there. Walk away, you're done. Now, if you don't have that, you don't want to do that, the next best thing that you can do is basically get onto your negative terminal, unscrew that, and then just make sure that you've tuck that somewhere where it's not going to bloody flick back up and join onto it. So basically that battery is now just by itself. So if your bike does have some small parasitic draw on there, that's going to drain that the least amount over time. It will still lose charge just by sitting there. Now, that's a lead acid battery. If you've got a lithium battery, lithium batteries don't lose charge nearly as much as what an lead acid battery does. So best choice, get a battery tender monitor, plug it on, and you're all good. If you can't do that, take that negative strap off, and that'll be your best chance at you bloody, having some charge when you come back. You might be able to charge it back up and you'll be sweet. Worst case scenario is you bugger your battery and you just got to get a new one. Whereas with the fuel, that can cause other problems, gumming up in areas and carbies and fuel injections and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, there you go. Righto, cool. Let's get on to the third one, tyres. Okay, so the best thing you can do if you don't have a jack stand, not a jack stand, a center stand for on your bike, is to put a jack, pump it up, just so that the tyres, see that's a tad too high, just drop it down a little bit, boom, that's it. So all the pressure is taken off those tyres. You're not going to get flat spots. Absolutely brilliant. Now, if you don't have a jack stand or a center stand or a milk crate or something that you can do this, make sure that you look at your manual, see what your maximum tyre pressures are. Make sure those tyres are pumped up to that before you take off to wherever you're going. Now, another thing, and people will go, oh, Mark, you can't put Tyre Shine on your tyres. Right, correct, you shouldn't do that. On those sidewalls, I'm saying do that because it will do protection. When we buy new tyres and we get them fitted at the mechanics or whatever, what do they tell you? Be careful on the way home. They've got a sealant on them until that wears off, then you're all good. Well, this is the same deal. Let's put that sealant back on there because they do that for a reason. But when we go to ride this, we've got to remember that. And I'll have some tips into things to make you remember. Cool, that's the tyres pretty much done. Rightio guys, so now the engine. Just replace the oil, that's it. Do the normal how you'd normally do it. I'm not going to explain, I could explain how to just change the engine oil. The motorbike is going to love you for it. Now, on the two bikes over here, the CB and the DR650, that's it. I only have to do the engine oil, nothing else to worry about. On this one, I've got a radiator, I've got a final drive. I could drop the final drive, put fresh stuff in there. Same with the coolant. I mean, you could just go right over the top. I mean, if you were going to put this away for a couple of years, yeah, do that. But the main thing is to swap your oil out. Brilliant. Right, so now what we've got to do is seal the engine from the elements. We'll do it on this one. Rightio, so exhaust, simple as, get a plastic bag, stick it over like that, grab an elastic band, hey presto, that is now sealed. If it's going to be a long time, be careful with your elastic bands, they can deteriorate. Get some tape and tape around that, and that's all good. So that's the exhaust done. Righto, so that's the air intake, comes in through the snorkel there. So little bag, same deal. Get all that on. Get yourself a elastic band. Chuck it around there. Hey presto, same deal. Put some tape if you worry, depending on how long for that elastic band. That's it, sealed. So why did we seal up the engine? Remember, it was to stop the rodents getting into your engine and moisture. I don't know, hardly think moisture is going to come in through that way. It might have, if you've got moisture in there, it might stop it from coming out too. So I'm not too sure. Main thing would be to stop, if you're in a place that you have bloody mice and I don't know, whatever rodents that like living in places like that, that's how you keep them out. Cool. Rightio guys, so that now brings us to the protection. So wash your bike, polish your bike, get your DW40, spray it on all the bloody metal parts. Remember the chain lube, do your chain, all good. Put a cover on it, put a blanket, a sheet, an actual cover on it. There are pros and cons to if you store your bike outside, whether you should have a cover on it and the cover touching the paint. And I'm not getting into that. Do what you want. Righto, let's get on to when we come back. How do we remember everything? If there's anything that we have to remember, tyres, the engines that we've covered up. Righto. There you go, guys. That is it. We are ready to rock. One exception, obviously, I didn't mention about just lubing up your normal lubrication points. Get that done as well. But that's it. You should be ready to take off, and then when you come back, you should be all sweet. Your bike's not going to be bloody, you know, unsafe, unwell, whatever you want to call it, to be riding. Do as much as that as you want or not, but the main things is your fuel, that battery, and your tyres. They're the three main things that will cause you some major problems. I know you can go into the oil, blah, blah. Shut up. You could just go on forever with this bullshit. There you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Now, remember, the guy, get down into the comments. There'll be guys in there, normally get in there. They're knowledgeable. Things that I may have missed. Other options I know, like in the UK and in the cold parts of America, they have salt on their roads and stuff like that. So they, you know, people will talk about that stuff as well. Always lots of ideas in there. Righto, remember, keep on riding, and if you ain't riding, keep on keeping on.